have a gavel. Welcome to our North Ogden City Audit Committee meeting here on September 12th, 2024. On our agenda, we have invocation and pledge allegiance. Randy, would you lead us on that tonight?
Sure. Our Father in heaven, we ask thy spirit and blessing to be with us this night as we discuss the affairs and finances of the city. We are grateful for thy blessing upon us as citizens of this town, and we pray that we may do what is right for on behalf of the city. We ask thy blessing this night in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, going to our consent agenda, discussion and or action to approve the June 20th, 2024 Audit Committee meeting minutes. Ryan sent these out earlier. Do we have any discussion or a motion?
I don't have, so I would remove that we approve them.
Okay, we have a motion by Randy.
I second that.
Second by Blake. All right, do we have a committee if we only have three?
We got four technically.
Oh,
Technically, Ryan.
oh yeah,
is
Ryan's a committee member. That's right.
As the city recorder. by
So we do have
statute,
four.
It's her job to make sure there's an audit that happens. She
Okay.
doesn't do the audit. She just has to make sure it happens.
All right. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Public comments. Let the record show we have no members of the public here with us tonight. So anybody on, we have one member online.
No raised hand.
All right. Okay, we'll close public comments. Discussion on the quarterly financials, and that'll be by our finance director, Jamie Jones.
Yeah, did everybody get a copy of the slides there in front of you?
It's working its way down.
Okay, great.
Oh, that's a full packet.
That might be two packets.
Great choice.
Awesome. Okay, so we're this first slide here, we're looking at the year-to-date budget of all the major funds, the general fund, the aquatic center, water, sewer, stormwater, and solid waste. The blue is the revenue side and the orange is the expenditure side there. For the general fund, we're falling just a little bit short there in the revenues. Most of that is, or all of that, I should say, is because we didn't receive our 6th B and C road funds yet. So that hasn't been recorded. And then most of the departments have come under budget there in the general fund, and we'll cover more of that here in a little bit. The aquatic center, again, just a reminder that this is from last July of 2023 through June of 24. So this is not necessarily this summer. So revenues coming in at 94 and then expenditures at 111%. The water fund. Water funds higher. Most of this is the ARPA dollars. We did come over a little over on budget for the utility revenues. And then as you look at the water, sewer, and stormwater, those revenues are a little higher, and you'll see that later on too. And that's because we have the sale of assets in here. And I should have started with this. I need to just say that these are unaudited numbers. And so because the sale of assets numbers are in here, all these numbers are going to change is because we need to still do some adjustments for the revenue side. Let's see here, next slide. So the next slide is general fund revenues by department, breaking it down. General tax revenue as a whole, 103%. We did come $158,000 over budget for our sales tax projection. We did collect 96% of property taxes for the year. And then we collected more in our delinquent property taxes than anticipated. But overall did well there. Licenses and permits, this is where our building permits are. When we started the budget year, we were at 400,000 and then amended to 300,000 for building permits, and it came in at 325. So intergovernmental revenue, again, that's at B and C roads. We haven't received that sixth payment yet. Charges for services. This is like our zoning, planning and zoning fees, recreation fees. The budget for planning and zoning was about 150, and we came in about 180. So, and same thing with recreation. We did come in a little higher than about $9,000 than projected on recreation fees. So fines and forfeitures, we projected pretty good there. Miscellaneous is miscellaneous revenues. So most of this is like when we sold equipment, computers, things like that, when the police station was sold, or it's not sold, when the police station was torn down. And then like we get a lot of cashback credits from using Wells Fargo credit cards, you know, that was like $6,200. Some other evidence sales and things like that. So that's why miscellaneous, try not to budget too much in miscellaneous because we don't want to rely on that, right? So it does come in a little bit higher than projected. Interest earnings, we projected 280,000 and it came in at 285. And then grants and transfers in, we did pretty good on our grants. We collected over 100%, about 120% on our grants that we projected. But this number also includes transfers and or use of fund balance, which we did not use any of that. So that's why it's at 65%. So 65% is actually a good number.
On YouTube still.
We did.
The next slide, we'll talk about the general fund expenditures by department. Again, this is looking at the budget as a whole for the whole year. And so I just want to talk about the outliers. Really, the only thing is that public works inspection, that one it always comes in under, and it's just about the timing of when those expenditures come in. And 80%, let's see here, was it 80? Yeah, 80% is where they landed in that budget. And most of that is because they didn't use their travel and training. They didn't use their travel and training funds there. And then we also had some changes in staffing. So that caused some where we didn't use wages. Let's see what else was there. And then fuel and parts was down as well. I'm wondering if it's because they weren't running around as much. Any questions there?
It's really pretty good, really, to come that close after a year.
Yeah, I think all the departments did really well. Again, there still would be some adjustments. But I think as a whole, I think we're gonna look really good there. So, oh, I should say the one that is 101%, that was the general government buildings. That's all of our utilities. That 1% is like a little over like $1,000 or something right now. Darn it. The next slide is revenues by quarter. So this is looking at all the major funds again. And then this is all the 4 quarters. Again, the general fund is so volatile of when we get revenues in. The aquatic center, their main season is right there at the first quarter and then the 4th quarter. The water fund, that first quarter, the first and second quarter is skewing the data because it was the ARPA dollars that we received. using those funds for the water tank. The sewer fund and the stormwater fund, you can see this is where we had sale of assets. And so that's why it's higher there in the fourth quarter. But as we reconcile that for the audit, that should come down and balance out there. So any questions there? And the next slide, this is looking at the expenditures for all the major funds by quarter. And the general fund is kind of the opposite of revenues. We get the money and then spend it the next quarter. The aquatic center is in line with how we receive the revenues there with the first quarter and fourth quarter. The water fund, again, that's that water tank. You can see where we pretty much finished it up at the end of the year. The sewer is pretty much flat. There wasn't much going on in the sewer department other than their normal operation activities. Stormwater fund, that first and second quarter, the 28 and 38% was when they were doing the 2100 North Storm Drain that coincide with the water tank project. And then the solid waste funds, you could tell which quarters we were buying trash cans. This next slide talks about sales tax. We have received all of the sales tax for the fiscal year. We mentioned earlier we came in 158,000 higher than the projected budget, or about 3.4%. And it was 3.89 higher than overall of last year. It did fall pretty flat there since December. It's that red line, which is for fiscal year 24. And starting in December, you kind of see how it flattens out for the year compared to fiscal year 23. I don't know if you have any questions on that
That's a
one.
better projection. In other words, we're not coming so far off. Our projection was close to what it actually is.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
3% or whatever.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, we'll see. We still haven't received July's. That'll be next week. So we'll see if the trend continues.
Every year, it seems like they project a recession and then we don't have it.
Right.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Kind of the same thing again. Some are saying we're gonna not have a soft landing, and others saying we are, but just keeps us on our toes.
So the next slide is more on sales tax, and this is broken out by what the total generated by state for the whole state, and then also what the city generates. And I'd like to take a moment and look at these just to see.
Shows what our businesses are doing.
Yes, yeah. So the total, it shows what our businesses are doing. And then I'd like to see, because in December, for fiscal year 24, you can see in December, there's more spent in the city than it was for the rest of the year, which is way different than it was for last year. A little bit, tiny bit higher. I can't read that number on my sheet. It's a tiny bit higher for last year. From last November.
Total number at the end of the year.
What's that again?
You have the total number,
The total number for sales tax?
sales tax for the two lines. What's the percentage difference?
Oh, I don't have that one. No, I don't have that one. But overall, the city receives 31% of the total, or the city is generating 31% of what we receive. And then I did add this new chart where it says the city percentage of total received by month. And you can see that fluctuation that is in line with the one above. So you can see what percentage the city is generating compared to what the city is receiving.
What's that new building gonna be? They're building out next to 2700 there.
It's a Mountain America Credit Union.
Oh, that's the new credit union.
Yep.
Okay.
It's one of the new credit unions.
You got another one?
America First is going to rebuild.
Okay, yeah, I remember he saying that, but that's not it. That's another one.
We got Bank of America down by Zion's.
Oh, okay. Good. We're gonna be a financial hub.
Financial
Yeah, we
hub.
are. Okay, do we have any questions for Jamie?
So,
Any questions on that? I have got a couple of questions that looked out of line on the thing, but I'm sure there's an explanation for each one.
sure.
I noticed $51,000 donated to the Barker Park. Is that because of your efforts to,
Yeah, not mine.
what is that, Jamie?
Say that again, the 50,000?
$50,750.
So the city received a donation for,
One donation? or-
there was a $50,000 anonymous donation that the city received.
For pickleball.
Yeah, I
for
was
the
just gonna
pickleball
say that
court.
Oh,
was
that
for
was the
pickleball.
pickleball thing.
Yeah, that was
Okay, that
pickleball.
wasn't Barker Park. That
Nope.
was- Well, here's the one on Barker Park. We didn't budget anything and yet we spent almost 300,000.
What line number are you on?
I didn't bring it all because I didn't want.
That could have been from.
Oh, so we did,
There was zero budgeted and yet there was 290,000.
so it's the,
We put in the equipment and stuff.
no, we did have a budget of 295 and we spent 290,000.
Line I saw, I thought didn't have any.
It depends on what column you're looking at. The period actual is a 0, and then the next one, I have it here if you would like to
That'd
see
be a
it.
good explanation.
Yeah,
We
we actually received a ramp grant for most of that
and
project.
we had $58,000 planned for the senior center and we didn't spend any. What was that?
We did, we had the 58,000, but we spent 52.9, and that was for the re-roof.
Yeah, I must have again looked at the wrong columns because it looked like we didn't spend anything. And then I had a question. What, in our budget, we had 18,500 for state liquor allowance. What is that, Jamie?
So we get state grant, which is generated by the sales tax, part of the sales
Money
tax.
coming in From taxes on.
From taxes
liquor.
on liquor, and that is to cover we have what we call DUI shifts. And some of those other things, but yeah, so that is for the police,
That's good.
for the police department.
Yeah, so there's roughly $19,000 in overtime we pay each year for officers to go out and patrol for looking for DUIs. That's all they're doing.
Oh, and so you allocate this towards that?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's a good.
Yeah.
Good way to do that. That's all I had.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I just want to say we adopted the 25 fiscal year 25 budget with a 9.5% property tax rate. And I think it went really well. We have a new city treasurer, if you haven't heard. We have a new city treasurer, Casey Hunsaker. I was hoping he'd be with us tonight, but he is out of town. He's out on some training. So maybe we'll meet him next time. And just if you had any other items for next meeting or anything else to talk about.
Sounds like things are coming. So when we look at this in December, this will be an audited number we'll be looking at that time? or-
Yeah, we'll bring the audit forward whenever we set the date for in December. We're currently working on that.
The 18th or
Yeah.
something?
The auditors are
Mhm.
scheduled to be here the week of the 20th in October. So we still have about another month before they arrive, and so we should have it done in December.
It is currently scheduled for the 19th
19th.
of December.
That's a Thursday.
All right. So I think, yeah, financials look good.
Thank you.
We ended the year on a good note.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go to the next item, public comments. No raised hands on Zoom and nobody here in public. or in person? Okay, we'll go to the committee members, staff comments. Jamie, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
I don't, thank you.
Okay. John?
We are moving some seats around, and so she's training lots of people, and hopefully we're taking a little bit of a load off of her so she can help us with some of the things that we would like her to do to help us plan for the future that we've been trying to shift towards with our capital and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, we're excited for these changes, but you might see more finance staff folks
So you're
attending
adding-
these.
Are you adding staff then?
So we're essentially adding one and a half people, depending on how you look at it, but it'll kind of be a payroll / accounting specialist. Right now, Jamie does the payroll for the city and all the back end reconciliation. So we're trying to have someone else do that so she can focus on stuff that takes a little higher skill set.
It's becoming more sophisticated.
Yes.
Good thing. Yep.
Brian, do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Randy?
Just to thank you guys for the work you do every day. We only meet once every 3 months, but we know you're in here doing it all every day. So thanks to both of you and your team.
Blake?
I will not be here on December 19th. I will be out of town. So I'm asking for permission to miss on that day.
Okay.
Only if it's someplace really good.
It is.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Taking the family on a little
Someplace warm.
trip,
Good.
somewhere warm.
Okay. All right, and I have nothing as well, so look for a motion to adjourn.
Did we officially excuse Thane, by the way?
Oh, we didn't officially excuse Thane
Actually,
or Mayor Berube. Yeah, those two. So we'll officially excuse them now that we're over. Yep. Now I'll look for a motion to adjourn.